Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Flyers High and Wide. I'm here with my co-host, Jack. I'm Jim. You can find us on Twitter, Jim_FHW. Jack, what's yours? Flyers Yak?
Flyers Yak, although not a lot of yakking going on right now.
Not a lot of happy yakking anyway.
Oh my God! Let's just get right into it.
Let's go. So when we ended our last one, we went through a streak of games. We gave our predictions. We can go over some of them now. You want to just jump right into that?
Yeah, let's just start with the first one and go from there.
All right. So the first one on our list, we had the New York Ranger game, Black Friday game. We had them down as taking the L. You were at that game, so go ahead and talk about that one a little bit.
That was hands down the best game they played all year. And
that was a 4-0 shutout, right?
Yeah, they were. I don't remember now because it was so long ago if Lundqvist started. I don't think he did, but I could be wrong. But yeah, 4-0 shutout. They were banging on all cylinders. They just played great in every asset of the game for a full 3 periods, and on national television against a division opponent who's been playing very well. Just what they needed, because they had just before that they won a 4-game slide. They lost to Florida, the Devils, Tampa in overtime, and Buffalo. And then they come out and they beat the Rangers 4-0. So there's really not a whole lot to say except for they played phenomenally. But they followed that up the very next night with Toronto, a 6-0 loss, which pretty much led to Hakstol being fired on Monday. You know what I mean? So they
were definitely going to do something after the 6-0 loss to Toronto. I got to say, I didn't see it being Hakstol as the guy that was going to get canned.
No, I don't think anybody did.
Knowing what we know now, I guess at some point he was going to go. I guess he's the first one. Hakstol, there's no way he's going to be here beyond this year. There's no way possible, right?
So. I mean, you hope that they're just, from what I hear, is they're waiting for Quenneville. Because Quenneville had originally said he wanted to wait the year out. And the second, the whole debacle with Hakstol and the Flyers went down, now he wants to wait till after Christmas. And he's got ties to Chuck Fletcher. So that tells me he's at least considering the job and taking over mid-season. Now, a lot of these guys, he's been coaching since 97. Maybe he wants a break, but these guys, they don't sit still for too long. Yeah, they don't go on these year-long hiatuses. They're away from the game too long to get the itch. So maybe he was let go in mid-November. Though a month and a half break, that's a nice break. So maybe he's ready to evaluate the team he has now if he were to come to Philly. I don't think Chicago wants him going to the Blues, and he's still under contract with them. He's being paid $6 million this year to do nothing right now, so he doesn't have to come back. I think he would want to. So, but they're going to block him going to St. Louis until that contract's up. I don't know if it's for just this year. I don't know if it's for another year. I don't know. But that's why I think he's not with the Blues. He's not going to Edmonton because Edmonton can only offer him a 1-year deal because Peter Chiarelli, the GM in Edmonton's probably on his way out too. So that's why he's not there. Flyers make a whole lot of sense.
Hitchcock's only going to be there for the end of the year?
And they'll reevaluate, I guess. But it's mainly because Chiarelli is on the hot seat.
Moron, that guy, man.
He's made some horrific trades. He's an idiot.
Usually I defend him because he's a Paisan, but he's
got a Stanley Cup ring. He did know what he was doing at one point, and I guess when the NHL changed, he just didn't change with it. He traded away Tyler Seguin for one of the dumbest reasons I've ever seen. It didn't get good enough return.
He was a kid.
Yeah, he signed Milan Lucic to an asshole deal. He bids against himself. He paid him all this money. Nobody was offering that kind of money. We all know about the Adam Larson for Taylor Hall deal, which is mind-blowing to me. Wow, you're the one guy who can keep up with McDavid speed-wise, you're going to trade away. But you're going to slot Milan Lucic in there. He has no clue what's going on. Yeah, get any joke. Jesus, that's like trading Giroux for Cody Ceci or some shit. It was just idiotic.
Good name drop right there. Speaking of Cody Ceci, the team does he still play for the Senators, actually?
You can call that playing, yeah.
I don't remember seeing him out there, but so they were up 3-1 against Ottawa, ended up losing 4-3 in regulation.
You were there, Jimmy. What happened exactly?
So they actually looked pretty good. This was the night that they fired Hakstol, right? Or the day after.
Yeah.
I thought they looked pretty good for 2 periods. Towards the end of the second, they kind of started to, take their foot off the pedal a little bit in typical Hakstol fashion.
Oh, the Hakstol turtle.
Yeah, they did a little early this game. So you could see momentum kind of changing a little bit. And down 3-1, you could see Ottawa getting a little bit of life back. Third period comes, boom, same story. All Ottawa until the last couple minutes, and by then it's too late. Gave up 3 goals in, I think, 10 minutes. And you're going to start to see a trend with this team because there's a couple more games where they did the same thing. I don't know how you can be. I mean, it's been a problem for years with this team, but I don't know how you can be 28, 27 games into a season and still not be able to play a 60-minute hockey game. I don't get it.
Yeah, if you ask me, it's accountability, and that's the coach not holding the team accountable. Now, this week that we're talking about was right when the Hakstol thing happened, and a lot of stuff came out. I believe we did a podcast on that Monday, so we did talk about Hakstol being fired. But what we didn't know was all that stuff that came out, like with Gord Murphy being a spy, and the old timers weren't allowed in the locker room, and the crazy food orders, like he didn't like players having pizza, he would lose his mind, and had closed doors, and just being this shut off GM, and his inner circle got smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's just that's not how the Flyers operate. Now, I love Hakstol, I do. I feel lost in the woods right now. But after hearing some of that stuff, it's like this is not what I expected at all. And then, like, he was one of the only GMs to actually do an exit interview with the media. A lot of GMs don't do that, but I feel like he wanted to defend himself. And one of the things he said that irked a lot of people was, well, I didn't want to trade assets for a 35-year-old forward just to make the team better now. I don't think anybody wanted that. Why did they have to be a 35-year-old asset? There were plenty of – he could have made a trade. He could have made it better. He could have traded assets that guys who probably will never make the team or later round picks because he's going to have too many anyway. He's going to have too many spots. He can't keep his prospects, and the prospects are going to see no chance of making the NHL. They're going to want to be moved. A perfect example, Cooper Moriarty, who's now with Edmonton, and I think he might even be on the Oilers at this point.
He is. He's playing on the team, yeah.
That's crazy. So, like, why not move some of these things? Make every season count because they know they're losing money at the wazoo. So it's for him to make that, like, obvious argument, like, oh, I'm not going to trade for a 35-year-old on a terrible contract. Like, well, no, because if you did that, we all be mad. Why not trade for, like, an expiring contract who can just make your team better a little bit? Like last year, like who was that guy? The Devils got 2 of them. The one, the hell's his name?
It was Grabner and Maroon.
Grabner and the other one. He's with the Blues now.
Maroon,
yeah. Like the expiring contract. You can't make a trade like that. Like, how's that hurt your future? It doesn't. So, like,
anything.
And I understand getting a goalie is pretty tough, but he really didn't. He didn't try. He didn't try to get any kind of goaltending, anything on defense, and he definitely didn't try to fix the penalty kill, which is an absolute joke. So, and it has been.
You know what's frustrating also, like, because if he's not going to make any moves, then I want to see guys like Oscar Lindblom playing more than 11 minutes a night, guys like Travis Sanheim playing more minutes than Gudas and McDonald and Hag. He's a skilled young player. Let him make his mistakes. Let him grow. Let him learn. Don't hold him back. If you're not going to trade for guys that deserve more time than him, then play him more than these other guys. And like Lindblom is buried on the 4th line for how long now? Do you know that he's getting the same amount of minutes that Vorobiev was getting? Like, he is in the straight-up doghouse right now.
Which kills me because Hakstol has to know he is coaching for his life now. Yeah. The seat has never been hotter. It's almost like he's a placeholder. It's that hot. You can't sit on it. You're going to get fired the second they get an answer from Gwenville, and even then they'll probably move on to somebody else. And he's going to choose to put Lindblom, who is the type of player who should be playing with talent. They were one of our best lines at the time with Patrick and Voracek. Now, another player who's not playing well is Patrick. So why not put that line back together to get to spark these guys? No, you got Lindblom on the 4th line barely playing, which is idiotic. You got Patrick, who's a ghost. He's nothing. I barely hear his name. Like, he's so so non-existent right now. It's bad. But you got, and this was brought up. Might as well bring it up now. You got Travis Sanheim, who is by far the Flyers' best defenseman. It's not even close. Last night in Calgary, and we'll get to that debacle. McDonald played, who I thought was doing great in the press box. McDonald plays over 22 minutes. Sanheim plays just about 10. Can somebody explain to me why you're playing Andrew McDonald more than double your best defenseman?
And he gets beat on critical plays. He gets beat so bad.
He makes bad decisions. He breaks his stick. He just doesn't cover people. He takes penalties. He does everything you could possibly do wrong. And he's playing double the amount of time. Hakstol should be trying different things because he's going to lose his job. And the team is getting the same results. They play a good team. They get blown out. Look at Winnipeg, 7-1. That was still the same when Hakstol was here. Oh, I think we should give the Hakstol a chance. Hakstol was holding them back. Nope, it's the same exact shit. New defensive coach, same exact shit. You play a team that actually knows what they're doing, they get blown out. They get embarrassed. They let these little leagues slip away because of the Hakstol turtle. And he's playing dumbasses for twice as amount of time. Like, nothing has changed. Nothing at all has changed. It wasn't Hakstol. Yes, I don't like some of the things he was doing, but Hakstol still has no friggin' clue how to coach. Like, he doesn't know. He has no idea. You're hanging on to him, waiting for Quenneville, and that's it. And it kills me because I was telling you off air, you'll talk to the casual Flyers fan, and some of them like Hakstol, like he's not the problem. Okay, what is then? What is he doing to help the problem at least? Nothing.
You have to know your players, man.
If you actually watch the game and watch how these teams play, like you have Wheel taking 100,000 penalties. He's misplaying Sanheim and McDonald. McDonald shouldn't even be on the ice. I told you, we talked about Lindblom and Patrick. Oh, he's good with the young guys? How are they doing?
Yeah.
There's one good young player on this team right now, and that's Sanheim, and he's barely playing him. It's like, come on.
And he's hot right now. Like, let the kid go, man. It's not like you're going to be stopping. Like, they have to win games. They got to score 4, 5, 6 goals when they play. Like, if he's not good at defense, then put him out there for his offense because Andy McDonald ain't doing nothing for you. And another thing, like, if you're putting Andy McDonald out there so Sanheim doesn't make mistakes, but McDonald is making the mistakes, then put friggin' Sanheim out, dude. What's the difference?
No, why not try different things at this point?
Yeah, honestly, what the hell?
Honestly, Sanheim should be on the second power play unit in Provorov's spot. Provorov needs to get his defensive game together before we even consider it. Plus, that second unit hasn't done crap. I think their units as a whole, they might have more points on the penalty kill than they do the power play. That's how pathetic they've been.
It's possible, yeah.
They've changed in the last couple of games, but the fact that it's even in the same stratosphere is a joke. And when you consider how many shorthanded goals they give up, that shows you how bad the power play has been. I'm trying to think of any other young guys. Like Travis Konechny's been okay. He's not going to do anything for you defensively, but when that top line gets going, not taking anymore. He's a veteran now. Not old, but Provorov's regressed. Patrick's invisible. Lindblom has I don't think he's handling him correctly. He was off to a great start, sputtered out a little bit. He's how old? 22? 21? He's
very, very like I don't understand. Why did they move? Why did they take him off?
I never understand with certain things when the second it goes wrong. It's desperation is what it sounds like. It's not working, and that's why I think he reverted and went back to McDonald, playing him 100,000 minutes because they got into the playoffs with that formula before. Except for now, the goaltending is completely abysmal. It was never good, but at least a healthy Elliott could be okay. They don't even have that now. So they don't have that. They don't have pieces on offense they had. Finally, JVR is starting to come around a little bit. He's getting some points. But
you know who he's playing with? He's playing with Giroux.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And honestly, I kind of, as much as I like Giroux at the wing, with the way how Patrick's playing right now, it should go Giroux, Coots, Patrick, and then whoever Wheel, I guess, on the fourth line center if they finally stop playing Laterre, who I
don't even get started. You like Giroux at center.
Well, you have the only reason you got moved to wings because you had too many centers, right. And now you sent Voibrev back down. Patrick is completely invisible; he needs to be dropped. So why not put Coots back on your second line? Play him with Voracek and I don't know. It should be Lindblom, but that's not going to happen. Top line should be Drew, JVR, and Konechny. Those three players should complement each other, and then you move some pieces around, you make it work. But he's got the wrong pieces in the wrong spots. Like Lindblom, the fourth line, it just does nothing for you. Yes, he can work the boards pretty well, but he needs to play with skilled players. Like, come on. Like, this is ridiculous. Simmons, I love him. Love that fight against in the Penguins game there, but he's a third-line player, power play point specialist, and he doesn't even score on the power play anymore. So it's like he's got to be moved. I'm looking at love his heart, love his soul, but that contract's going to bite you in the ass so hard. And from what I hear, they're far apart on years and numbers, and not only means that he wants more like 6 years and
he's going to get it. He's going to get something big from somebody.
Maybe $7 million plus. You're going to pay that? Come on. And
I hope he gets it. I just hope it's not from us.
Also, yeah, and there's teams that want him. Like I know Toronto would love Simmons right now, and it's like
it'd be good for them.
We're going to pay this for this guy. This is the team we've had with Simmons on it. We've never been out of the first round. So obviously it's not that important. I love the guy. I do. But we have to try something else. It's not working. So I would like to see a new coach first before the trade deadline. So all they want for Christmas or New Year's is a new coach. And I just, if he somehow does last the end of the year and Quenneville's somehow still available and they still don't fire him, I will – Fletcher's already on the hot seat in my eyes because come on, that's insanity. Like,
when do you think they actually do the coach? When do you think they fire Hakstol?
According to our schedule, last game of the year is 31st against Carolina. The first they'll be on the road, so they'll probably play January 1st against Nashville. Probably get smoked, and then hopefully they can make a decision then. And then by Carolina, which is close to Philly, maybe they can have him ready to go there. Oh, Carolina's home. Excuse me. So there you go. It was the way the month thing was set up. So, yeah, so when they come back home from that West Coast trip, well, it looks like they play the Rangers. They go to Florida. They go to Carolina. They drop down. They go back down to Nashville. West Coast trip. Nashville's not West Coast. My mistake.
It's west of us.
But then they come back. They finally come back home. I think that's when the move can be made. It's the new year. It's not like the second the new year starts, so we have some time to think. Which is unfortunate. There's a lot of games to be played. Like this team can really sink in the standings, so you might as well kiss this season goodbye. But
and they can't sink that much further. They're only second to last over here.
The teams are pretty tight. It's very 500 league, and the Flyers just went 2-2-2, like you just said. But what we were talking about it. So let's just finish it up real quick. So they lost to Ottawa. They surprisingly beat Pittsburgh after Crosby scored like 30 seconds in. Simmons with a great fight there against a much, much bigger guy.
That was nice.
He lost that fight, but he held his own.
Yeah.
And that guy's ginormous.
I thought that could have been a turnaround for the season, but sadly they couldn't gain.
It felt that way. It felt that way because when they played Columbus, remember Columbus embarrassed them the first time they played them. They went down against Columbus, made this miraculous comeback, and then shit the bed in overtime as they usually do. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I'm going to bring it up, but I'm going to wait till we get to the next couple matchups.
And Provorov went full retard, and you never go full retard.
Dude, they've been doing it a lot, though. They've been going full
retard. Stems from the top. Then they go into Buffalo, and they were down 2-0. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. And then they score 6 unanswered goals. It's like, but then again, backup goalie. Just saying. They played a good game. But
yeah, they looked
there's a theme here. They go to then the next night they go to Winnipeg, and it's typical Hakstol Flyers. Here's a really good team. They were in the Western Conference Finals against Vegas. They're still really good, and they get absolutely obliterated, 7-1. Like that team looked done after 3-1. They like they quit.
And in games like that is how when people say, oh, they could still make the playoffs, or they're only 2 points out, or don't be negative, and you're just like, dude, like I don't want to just make the playoffs. They're getting crushed by legit cup contenders. Toronto 6-0, Winnipeg 7-1. Like, dude, what do you want to make the playoffs for? So you can get destroyed 4 games in a row?
And that's all that's happened in his 2 playoff runs. He's lost in 5 games to Washington and in 6 to Pittsburgh. And so he has 3 playoff wins in 2 playoff appearances. You know what I mean? Like full trips to the playoffs. And but the amount of blowout losses he has is like 4 or 5. When you only played 5, you only played 11 total playoff games, and almost half of them are blowout losses. Wow. This is a playoff game, and both times, obviously, against division opponents. Like, that's fucking embarrassing.
They're supposed to be close by default, because you're supposed to work hard, play hard, but they just get demolished. Did you freeze on me?
You froze. What'd you say?
Oh, you froze on me?
Yeah, I just saw your eyes were like in the back of your head, and then you just froze for a second.
I said
that. It was weird.
Playing a division opponent in the playoffs, they're supposed to be close by default because you're supposed to hate them, blah, 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 and they just get rocked.
I mean, and I couldn't agree with you more, and that's especially true with Pittsburgh. Like, one of the things that should be on the GM or the head coach or even the player resume, like coming in for the Flyers, is you're going to play your ass off when you play Pittsburgh, right? When these guys come into our house, you're going to go nuts, right? Because we hate this team. We are the exact opposite of what this team stands for. Like, we're blood, sweat, and tears. They're calls from the referee, Gary Bettman getting them Crosby, rigging the lottery kind of crap. Yeah. They're very they're that team. You know what I mean? Extremely talented, but we're blood, sweat, and tears. They're definitely tears, but I don't know about the blood and sweat. Hence their crybaby blue jerseys. Yeah, so you play you don't get embarrassed by those teams. You don't let it happen. And if it starts happening, you start throwing fists. Seriously. And that's why I issue with Gudis last year rolling over when he threw a left arm out or some crap to, all right, knock it off. I'm like, really? He's jumping your teammate right now. It better be a lot more than that, considering your play is horrendous. It's been better this year, but
he looked good, by the way, this time around against Pitt. I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, it was good to see that they won, but Pitt's fallen off a little bit. They don't have Matt Murray. I don't even know who the guy they put in net. It wasn't Christian Jarry. It was some other guy. Smith, who got beat. His 5 hole's his weakness. If you're a goalie and you have a weakness of your 5 hole, that sucks. So, yeah, and they got injuries too. So Pittsburgh's still a better team. And look, they're making moves. They made moves. Why aren't we've done nothing? We've literally done nothing still.
And I like that move by them, actually, because Tanner Pearson's the guy they got, right?
Yeah, and they sent out Hagelin. Hagelin's fast, but he's getting older. Pearson's young. He's got, who knows? He could have untapped potential there.
He's put the puck in the net a couple times.
He's team controlled for 2 or 3 more years. That was a good. I like that for Pitt. I hate to admit it, but I did.
That was a good deal.
So if they ever get Matt Murray back, they could turn things around. Then they're in every rumor I read about goalies, particularly Jonathan Quick. Pittsburgh's involved. Yes, we're there too, but we don't pull the trigger on deals. Pittsburgh does. So, and then they're interested in somebody else too. I can't remember who it was, but a legitimate player. Jesus, this team just keeps going for it. We're just barely,
Word to God, if they do
above water. So, and that brings us to last night, where they finally looked like they were going to do something against a very hot team. No pun intended. But the Calgary Flames have been playing very well lately.
So I missed a lot of this game. I only saw the last 3 minutes, which, was pretty much all I needed to see, I guess. But
what kills me about this game is, well, first off, I want to say the games that Stolarz has played in up until this point, he's looked good. He has not been the problem. He's not great, but he's not been the problem. And they're up 5-3. They were taking penalties left and right. They were the most undisciplined team I've ever seen. There was even stuff not being called. Calgary had every reason to be pissed off. Them coming back was the hockey gods being yeah, we gave you guys enough chance. It's ridiculous how, especially Jordan Wheel, and they killed a penalty.
He played.
What was that?
Wheel played.
I don't know. I thought he did. I had the stats in front of me. I remember at the end of the game, Ghost was in the box, and because I missed the beginning portion of that game, and it's 5-3. They just killed a penalty. Goalie pulled. They scored 2 goals with 1:10 left. And it's you got to be friggin' kidding me, because they go into the Hakstol turtle. They go into overtime. Flyers have 1 rush. Provorov moves in on Mike. I think it was Mike Smith. He makes a save. Okay. Immediately comes back the other way and make a pass shot score. You got to be friggin' kidding me. They gave up 3 goals in under 2 minutes. and 2 of them were with the goalie pulled to tie the game, and the last one was in overtime. How Hakstol is still a coach of this team? If it's not because of Quenneville, I give up. They don't care. They just don't care about the season, about the fans, about anything. Which firing of Hakstol tells me otherwise. So now I'm just beyond confused. So I'm praying for some Quenneville miracle at this point.
I mean, after we go through this stretch of games here, I'm looking at like the chain of events and, the way they win, the way they lose, the leads that they blow, and it's inconsistency again with this team. And I don't see it changing anytime soon. Like they show flashes. Well, they'll beat New York 4-0. They'll come back against Toronto, lose 6-0. They look good for 2.5 periods against Ottawa, lose in regulation 4-3. Come out, beat Pitt 4-2, was it?
Yeah.
They barely show up against Columbus. They decide to play with 5 minutes left. They tie it. And, we could celebrate because they got a point, even though they lost within seconds of the overtime. Buffalo, they came out, got some revenge. They look solid, So one game a week, they look really well.
I was just going to say that because as you were saying that, going back to the Rangers game, and if you spread it out, it's actually less than 1 game a week. It's more like once every 8 or 9 days they have a really good game. Other than that, they'll lose or they'll sneak out a point, And it's like you said they're inconsistent, and they are obviously, but there's so much like talent on this team, and you see these offensive outbursts. They are like a bunch of misfits renegades who have all this oodles of talent, but it's not structured talent. So they blow bad lead. They blow leads in bad ways. Like they grasp defeat from the jaws of victory. You know what I mean? I'm trying to say it backwards. I stuttered.
They just hand it over. No, I got it.
That's coaching. How is structure not your coaching? That's your coach, man. Like, come on. You don't reward the good players by giving them more playing time. They even say that about the power play. The power play is supposed to represent good 5-on-5 play. So a lot of players who get to it are your good players. Obviously, Drew's going to be on there. Obviously, Ghost is going to be on there because that's his forte. So, but like Sanheim should be on the power play. Not the first power play, but he should be on the second power play. Konechny should be on the power play. They just stick to the dumbest shit, even on the penalty kill, which has been better. But I think that's because of Stolars. They're still leaving up too much space. Like guys at the point have all the room in the world to do whatever they want. But it all comes back for me to Hakstol. He's got his new coach, his new defensive coach, and it's been 3 games. Well, they look exactly the same. They look no different at all. There's nothing looks different, except for Stolars has had a little bit of stability in net, where I think they could have been blown out in a couple of games, or a couple of games could have got out of control. But, going forward, they got a back-to-back on Friday and Saturday, Edmonton and Vancouver, both in winnable games. I think they split. Vancouver's got some really nice young talent, but they could win both. It's not crazy they could win both. How bad they're playing, I don't see it happening. They play Detroit. Detroit's playing better right now, but they don't have a good team. So that's a winnable game. It's also at home. Then they got Nashville and Columbus.
Oh, they're definitely losing at home. Yeah,
they're definitely losing to Nashville. Probably lose to Columbus. They play the Rangers on Sunday at 7. It could go either way. I think they lose though. Then they have a few days off before they play Tampa and Florida, both away games. They might beat Florida. I don't know. Probably not. Carolina.
You're going down that list, and they could actually lose. I could
see
the
rest of Hakstol's
every single game.
Well, no, they really could, but they won't. They're too talented. Like despite Hakstol, they'll win a game. That makes sense.
Like this road trip, that maybe they'll beat Edmonton and then they'll lose in overtime to Vancouver or something.
I'm going until where I think how many games Hakstol has left. So let's do it this way: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I think he's got 10 games left, which brings you to the 11th game on January 30th against Carolina. In that span, I'll say he goes. I say he goes 3, 5, and 2.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's under now. Yeah, technically it's 500 because it's a well, actually, technically it's 3-7, but you are getting points. If he does that and Quenneville becomes available and they don't get Quenneville or get somebody else, I seriously, and no trades are made, I seriously have a lot of questions at this point. Like, he's completely useless. And there's a trade freeze around the 17th of December because of Christmas. Trades just don't go down until the new year. That's like 4 days away. Like, so
yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything until after that, most likely.
So then there's one move you can make, and that's the coach. And if you gotta wait for Quenneville, he's worth waiting for. That something better happen. Heads better roll, man. Like, come on. So it's every time we come on and do this podcast, I think once earlier in the season we were positive, and it's same
before
bullshit.
The season started, we were positive.
And I really wish somebody would just give me a legitimate reason why Hakstol is a good coach. I have none. What does he do good? He's not a dick to the players. I don't
know what he does, man. I don't know.
He is only behind Mike Keenan and Fred Shiro for most games coached. Laviolette took us to a Stanley Cup. Ken Hitchcock had us at the top of the league with President's Trophies and Eastern Conference Finals for years. What's his name took us to a Cup in '97. Mike Keenan took us to 2 and ran into the Wayne Gretzky dynasty of the Oilers. Fred Shiro's got 2 back-to-back cups. Hakstol's right up there with all those names, and he's done nothing. He's went on to the playoffs twice, got embarrassed. He's missed it twice, or he's missed it once, and this year's looking like he's going to miss again. I don't get it. This is horrible. It feels like we're a small market town, city team rather, and we just have to stick with what we have because we can't go get the big fish. Except for that's not us. And
are you starting to feel kind of apathetic a little bit? Now you're kind of just okay, it's the same.
I don't get mad. I always get mad. You can get me riled up, no problem. But it's easier to withstand their breakdowns and their losses. Where the season started and if the game last night happened, Game 3 of the season, I'd be flipping tables and screaming. Where now it happens, I'm yeah, well, this has kind of been the MO under Hakstol. It has. Some of the players too. And it's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. You look at structured teams. Some teams can lose but not be completely embarrassed all the time. I've heard the Flyers are the worst team. Of all the bad teams, the Flyers are the best. They have the most talent. They're still a bad team. One of the
That'll keep that's shit. See something like that. That's what I feel like. That's Hakstol. Oh, well, we're the worst team. What?
Yeah,
what
it's
the
almost
F,
like something
man?
he would use. We're the best worst team, and if the referees would make more calls for us, and if the fans would stop yelling at us, we'd be better. This is our coach. How ridiculous is that?
I couldn't play Andy McDonald for 40 minutes, or else we would have won.
I'll never get over that for the life of me. I hope somebody writes a book on it someday of the love affair between. And I'm not talking sexual. I'm just seriously. I really want to know what he sees. What the X's and O's and the scouting reports and the coaches are telling him it's a good idea to have him on the ice. I can't think of one. It's bad for the young players following his crap. He's literally leads – there are statistics showing that they're better a man down than they are with him on the ice. But he's still out there. He's still always out there playing twice as much time as a legitimate up-and-coming first-round defenseman in Sanheim. I'll never understand it. He has no clue what he's doing. Anybody who thinks he's doing a good job, you can explain that to me, then you got me. I'll never say another negative thing about Hakstol because I know it'll never happen. It's a joke. God, I can't stand him.
I like the fire, Jack.
I said it on Twitter the other day. This is the worst. I hate this team. For a Flyers team, of all the teams growing in my lifetime, so say 94 when I was really paying attention. And even then, I was only 7 years old, but I knew a lot of players.
That's a strong word.
This is the team I hate the most. This era right here. They make me so angry. The Briere and the Richards and them, they went to 2 Eastern Conference Finals. They went to 1 Cup. Yes, they had some bad seasons. They also had a lot of good seasons. You go back even further. Yes, we had that one bad year with Forsberg. We were supposed to win the Cup one year. We got bounced in the first round. Then we had a shit season. Well, Holmgren, who gets a lot of flack, turned it around and brought us back to Providence quick. Or Prominence, excuse me. Before that, you had
never ever questioned their team's effort, though. Ever.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you had the Lindros, the Desjardins, the Brendan Moores. They were all good teams. Yes, they weren't great every year, but they never got embarrassed. You know what I mean? They all had a cup runs in them, every single team. And then you come right around the time, I'd say 2013, till now, has been a dumpster fire. Like a complete joke. Like, that's 5 years of irrelevance, 4 of which were under Hakstol, maybe even the 5th. I'm not sure about that.
So the
No
first thing
rebuild's supposed to take that long. And I'm all about patience, but you can't throw away current seasons, especially when you get embarrassed by your rivals. And now you got Hakstol should have been let go after last year. Like, I don't understand. There's nothing redeeming about this guy.
So a lot of people will blame Holmgren for the last 5 years. And my response would be, okay, like, I think we all agree that Holmgren made some shitty moves, right? And it kind of left them where they were. I can acknowledge that. I can agree with that. What I don't agree with, and this is all besides the Crossing Broad article that everybody's been reading and stuff. Let's just pretend that we don't know about that. You're telling me a rebuild of this team was going to take 5? If Hakstol came in and said in 5 years this is where we're going to be, what would you say? And we are where we are right now, because rebuilds don't take 5 years, do you?
I read a quote, and what it basically said, he didn't say 5 years. What he said, and this is to his own detriment, we're going to restock the farm and get rid of some bad contracts while remaining to stay competitive at the NHL level. It's a very tough sell to actually, it's very tough to actually make that happen. However, they did make the playoffs in one of his first seasons, which I guess kind of sucked, but he did get rid of contracts. He did shed salary and make good deals and draft well. However, it's already been a long time. Like, we're talking 4 or 5 years. He then told us that, it's time to win.
That's where he messed up.
As JVR doesn't address the penalty kill, we need another defenseman. Doesn't address that. We definitely need a goal. You can't wait for Carter Hart. Doesn't address that. So you told me it was time to win. You signed JVR. Why aren't you getting are you at least trying to get another goalie? Or is I'm only willing to spend these assets, and those assets clearly aren't enough for a legitimate goalie? I'm not saying go get Carey Price, but you could get somebody else. There are other teams do it. Carter Hutton was available. I mean, yeah, you don't want to get caught with a ton of money or whatever, but you could have done something, and they didn't even try. So, and the Crossing Broad article, yes, I believe a lot of it, but I also think there's 2 sides to every story. So I think a lot of it was probably dramatized, exaggerated, but I think a lot of it was true as well. I wish, at the end of the day, Hakstol was like my head scout, honestly, Now, a lot of people want to give Holmgren a lot of flack, and I just want to say this. Holmgren was a really good GM. He gets pounded. But if you actually watched the Flyers and knew what was going on at the time, you would understand that when he first came in here, he made a lot of really swift moves. Like, he traded Forsberg for some draft picks, and he turned those into Tiemann and Hartnell, and he signed Danny Briere, and he turned the team around quick. Like, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals in, 2009? Right. Like, and they lost to Pitt, and then they were in or 2008, and then in 2010 they were in the Stanley Cup. They were 2 games away.
He's actually responsible for the core of this team as well, but from when he traded
Richards and Carter,
He
drafted Couturier, Gostisbehere, like those were his draft picks. Like, there's more. At the same time, he gets killed for his later moves. The only one I truly was 100% him that I hate was JVR for Luke Shen. That was all Holmgren. That was his fault.
I was completely shocked by that.
Now, other people will come in and say, well, he traded Bob. Well, he signed Bobrovsky. If you don't understand that was Ed Schneider telling him that, you just don't understand the Flyers. Ed Schneider has a phone from his press box that goes directly to the GM that he uses during the game. During the game, he would call up and say, usually it was about the goalie. It's very easy to start screaming at the goalie when you just get scored on. So after the debacle we had in the playoffs that year, where they're starting Michael Layton, Brian Boucher, and Bobrovsky, yeah, he was told to go get the top goalie in the market, regardless of the fact that Phoenix's system makes the goaltending look a lot better because of how their shot selections are. So, yeah, he had to sign Bobrovsky to a, 10-year deal at the time? Yep. So, obviously, he didn't want to trade Bob. Bob asked to be traded. That is a fact.
Yep.
So you want to kill him for those moves? Kill Snyder, because that was him. LeCavier, I think, again, that was a move to try to make something happen before Ed Snyder died. He was healthy as can be in 2010, but by 2013 or whenever the hell it was, he was dying. He had cancer, and it's his team. So I think he was doing that he was told to do it for Ed. Yeah, he could have made other moves, I guess, but there's only so much you can do with the cap space you have. So
right.
Yeah, kill Holmgren, go nuts. I like how I like his aggressiveness.
I was gonna say, just say it because I know you wanted to say it. I liked Holmgren as well.
Trade everybody because he didn't have prospects when he took over the team in 2007. He didn't have, and he still made things happen. So I'm really afraid they would trade everybody in that we have. I hope they don't do that. I don't think they'll do that. Hence why they got Chuck Fletcher.
They won't. Like even we were a little bit afraid, but there's no way they're going to trade every single last prospect. If they trade a couple and they bring in some guys that they can roster on the Daddy Club, I'll be excited because if I never see a guy like Rupstov play on the Flyers, or give me a name, give me a guy on the Phantoms.
Mark Friedman.
If I never see Mark Friedman play for the Flyers, I'm not going to be upset.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because I agree with you. It's actually a good point. I want to Myers and Frost. I want to see on here, but you can trade guys like Rustov and Friedman and even Ob Kubel. Do I think he's an NHL player? Probably, but I don't think he's a top 6 player. So if you could trade him in a second and get a second pairing defenseman, or maybe it's an expiring contract. There's a lot of you can get into. You do it. You should do it. At least explore it. Even if it's to salvage one season, because you're developing your team, you're building chemistry. And I just think you got to get the first moves the coach at this point, and that looks like something will happen. And the only reason it hasn't happened yet is because of first Hakstol, and now they're waiting on Quenneville. And I have heard literally Flyers waiting on Quenneville. And to say I'm going to wait till next season, to say I'm going to wait till after Christmas, that's 6 months difference. So obviously he's thinking of something or a situation maybe he wants to be in. So team still sucks. We'll wait and see what happens.
Quick question for you.
These 10 games, we should really keep track. We'll see what he does in these 10 games. And if he'd have to go, in my eyes, 7-3-1 to have any chance of keeping his job come January 3rd.
If the Flyers go 7-3-1 by January 3rd,
or 7-2-1, or
if they go 7-2-1, I'll do our next podcast naked. I don't know what I'll do.
I'll tell you
that is not going to happen.
How about this? 6-3-1. That's better. I'd say they have to go 6-3-1 or 7. They need more overtime losses or just more points out of it, but they can't be going 5-3-2. You know what I mean? That sounds good, but that's still 500 when you break it down. Just getting 2 extra points in there is not going to be enough to make the playoffs in the long run, especially when you're this into the season and this far back in the standings.
This team is not good enough to be. I mean, people are looking at it like, oh well, they got a point, but I'm looking at it as they're losing a point. They should have had 2 points in maybe 3 of those last couple games that we went over.
Back on, in Columbus when they came back and lost in overtime real quick. Yes, I had blue balls after that. Geez, you had this great comeback, and then you that was your overtime. Yeah. They snuck a point out of that game they probably shouldn't have gotten. So I can live with that.
That's a home game against a division opponent too.
Calgary, it's a West Coast team, so it doesn't matter if they come back, because if you win in overtime, you get 2 points, and that their point that you gave them doesn't matter in the standings to you. So yeah, they come away with a point, but you're like, hey, we still got 2 points. They lose. So it hurts that they lost, but then they also blew it and they don't get an extra point. It just was a horrendous showing. And I'm just so tired of seeing dumb Hakstol's face behind. He's so calm. He doesn't care. Yeah, well, we got to play better. Yeah, no shit, you got to play better. How about continuing to play the rest of the game?
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see a video of him talking to the team before or after a game. Don't you feel like it's just a bunch of kids in there doing whatever they want, and then the teacher comes in, he says whatever he says and he leaves, and they just go back to doing whatever bullshit they're doing?
Yeah, it feels like my old study hall. All right, guys, you're not allowed to talk in this study hall. Like we could talk in one, but we couldn't talk in the other. So yeah, you're not allowed to talk in this study hall. So please pull out your homework and do some homework. And the teacher like sits down, and I just turn to my friend and go, "So anyway, what are you doing after school?"
Exactly like that. That's the impression that I get with this team. Like, oh, he's here again.
With him at the helm, it's just like the Swedish chef. I really feel that way though. Like he's completely tuned out. Like he has to be. It's like he's hanging on. He's like, I'll just I'll make it through Christmas, and then after I'm fired, I'll go on vacation, and maybe I'll reapply to North Dakota. Like it's the only thing that makes any sense. So I don't know. I'm really curious.
The Swedish chef, man. I can't get that out of my head.
It's going to be on Twitter now. I'm telling you.
Change your Twitter name to the Swedish chef, please, and just have a picture of Hakstol.
Swedish. Oh, maybe I will, because that's how when he talks, that's all I hear now. Because
I'm ready to wrap it up.
Talk to you next week. I want to see what they did. They got I think they'll have 3 or 4 games, but they're all winnable games. You got Edmonton, Vancouver, Detroit. All 3 of those games are winnable, and then they play Nashville. We'll probably talk.
I'm like, these are winnable games, but now I'm like, they're gonna lose every single.
Well, the bar has been lowered because winnable games we're playing like teams like in right around where you are in the standings.
Yeah.
Hope you can win the big games, and you should win the bottom dwelling teams. Now their winnable games are against bottom dwelling teams. They're not games they should win. Those are winnable games. Right. So the worst teams in the league are the winnable games. The games they're probably going to lose are teams that like are right there with them in the standings, who are just better than us, like teams like Columbus, or Pittsburgh. But then like Winnipeg and Nashville, those teams, they're gonna get blown out.
I hope they get blown out against Nashville.
Around. Yeah, they're gonna, or maybe Nashville's more like a 4-0 win because they're more defensive. But like
while we're there, we should trade them Simmons too. While we're there,
I'm sure they
can freaking win a cup.
Well, I'm just saying, like the bar has been lowered so much on this team. It's sad.
No, and we were so excited before the year started.
They're a far cry from where
we thought they would be.
Man. 2012 was a long time ago, man.
You remember before the season, we were like, "Oh, if they don't win the division and a first-round playoff series, Hack's gone." And look what they're doing. They're under 500 right now.
The division's tough because they got a tough division, but they needed to.
But it's not that tough this year.
No. Well, yeah, they have regressed definitely because you look at the Devils, but Columbus is playing better. Pittsburgh's treading water. We suck. Washington's pretty good still. But look at the Islanders and the Rangers, though. Who saw that coming?
Yeah.
Even the Carolinas did no easy pickings.
I hate Carolina. I hate them so much.
Do you think there's a team that maybe the Devils are worse than us, but even then I think they'll go on a run at some point. Like
on paper, I think the Flyers are better than most of the teams in the division. On paper,
absolutely, I agree. That yes, the coach, because the structure of the team is a joke, always has been. So they're like they need to win a playoff round. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. That's oh geez, that's silly.
It used to be make the playoffs because anything can happen, but with this team with under Hakstol, like I don't get excited like that. Like, oh, maybe we can beat this team in 7 games. Maybe we can surprise somebody. This team, it's like, okay, make the playoffs and, get embarrassed. And I don't get excited for that.
How often they get embarrassed. That's what really drives me insane. My whole life, I never remember them getting that consistently embarrassed. Where do you hear this stat? Real quick. I can't believe I almost forgot about this. So it's got a list of all the teams that have lost by like large margins. And there's like 8 teams that lost by 5 goals once. There's 3 teams that lost by 6 once. There's 2 teams that lost by 7 once, and one of those teams also lost by 5. So that's 2 blowouts for them. Calgary lost by 8 once. The Devils lost by 5 once, and the Blues lost by 5 once. The Flyers have lost by 6 3 times and by 5 once. And I think this was done after the Winnipeg game. If not, that's a 5-goal. That's a 6-goal loss, making it 4. They are blown out. So out of the games they've played, close to a quarter of the games they've played.
That's a joke. It's a joke.
Sad. It's
The way they lose games is a joke.
They've become the team that when I was growing up, I never wanted them to be. They were like the Tampa Bay Lightning when they first started out. They're like the Predators when they first became an expansion team, and then the Wild, and they're that team now. Except for they have all the talent and payroll in the world. Like, oh my God, it's a joke, man. So these next 10 games, we'll see.
All right, we'll see for 10 more. We'll see.
Oh my God.
Hack, I would bet my money Hack's going to be here. That mother. Let's wrap it up before I start cursing.
I already let some fly. Couldn't hold it back today. I'm sorry.
Hey, you were quick off the handle with the A bomb. I think it was.
Because I feel like after watching this team, you have to down a handle.
All right, you want to sign off here?
Sure.
Yeah, take us home. Take us home.
Well, I'm Flyers Jack. If you want to drown yourself in your sorrows with mine, feel free. I'm on there every now and then, usually following up Jimmy on some kind of tweet he made. By the way, keep up your trade scenarios. Don't let those people come out and say, oh, who would do that?
Dude, there's some jerks on there, right?
There's people who are out to just be shitheads.
Yeah.
So just keep them coming. Any trade you can talk about, right or wrong, you can talk about anything. I enjoy it. Why not?
I thought it was a solid trade, too. I mean, if you want to talk about it real quick, I don't know.
What was it again?
It was Ryan O'Reilly and Jordan Parayko for Voracek and Ghost. I think the Flyers would probably have to add a little bit in there. Maybe whether it's maybe a second or third round pick and a player or something.
I just don't think Voracek has a whole lot of value because of how long his contract is, and Parayko has a ton of value.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say about Ghost is Ghost, but he's got tons of value, but not as much as he used to. And Ryan O'Reilly, he's got the points, but he's just not good in the locker room. Like, he's just not. I don't know what it is.
Somebody else was saying that too.
He's got some money attached to that deal, but if you were to do this NHL where you have, and I'm talking about the video game, where you have the two little trade bars at the bottom.
Yeah.
I feel like what the Flyers would have to add, or if the Blues would just be like, okay, we like these pieces, we're willing to move these pieces, but I think the Flyers, to make that deal, they would have to add Morgan Frost and like a 2020 first. And I say 2020 because the 2019 first is probably going to be too good for the Flyers to want to put in. You know what I mean?
True,
2020 would hopefully, ideally, be maybe lottery protected, at least, say that much. Additional lottery protected pick. So it's not a crazy good first, but they're going to want our top prospect and a damn good pick along with those players.
So if that's the deal on the table, if it's Voracek, Ghost, Frost, and a 2021 one for O'Reilly and Parayko, nothing else, would you do the deal?
I really don't want to let Frost go, but if Parayko is supposed to be what he is, and I kind of want to move Voracek's money off the books. Ron O'Reilly's the least serviceable player. And
got a year. O'Reilly's got a year less on his deal also, and he's 2 years younger. Yeah,
I like Ryan O'Reilly a lot. And it's just then we would have a lot of centers again. But I guess you can move Giroux back. You put O'Reilly or Coots as your one. That's your 1-2. Giroux's back to wing.
O'Reilly's a tough player. I mean, we're going to be losing a guy like Simmons. Maybe he steps into that leadership role.
And you see, that's probably what the deal would have to be with a first. I could give up the first for sure because we have enough prospects. But Frost he's killing it again. It's just like I really want to see this guy in a Flyers emblem. But that's the price you got to pay to get a guy like Parayko. And then Ryan O'Reilly's he's I don't know how he's in the locker room. He's got a lot of money, but he's a good player. I hate to admit it, but he is. Yeah, Voracek's like a compiler. I swear, he gets all these assists out of nowhere. Sometimes he looks so confident and he's like a man on a mission. And other time, I don't know if he knows how to stick handle. And he gets pickpocketed at his own blue line, and there's nobody behind him. Yep. And it's like for every point for every 70-point season he gets, he gives back like 35 of those points in erroneous errors he makes.
That's why I think there would be a beneficial deal because Ryan O'Reilly's more of a defensive guy. He can score. And you put him with a guy like Giroux once in a while or whoever, No,
it's definitely to talk about simply for Parayko, because he should be the full package. And he's actually what the Flyers, like a guy like Holmgren would love. He's got that Pronger-esque to him. He's a big dude, but he can skate, he can play. He's going to be really good. He's struggling right now, but he still has that kind of value because everybody knows he's going to be that good. Excuse me, but I don't think it happens. If anything, you got a better shot of getting Pietrangelo. But I don't even know what that would cost. And am I trading Frost for him? Fuck no. Oh man, I'm on fire tonight, Jimmy. I'm sorry. I didn't.
I don't care. I don't think our viewers mind either, but
yeah, we'll worry about that later.
All right. So we'll wrap this up then. We'll get back on next Thursday.
Anyway, Flyers Yak, feel free to chat. I'll probably be following like Angry Dan and all them, just chatting along, talking trade scenarios and hating on Hack.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys.
Fire Hack. Hashtag Fire Hack.
I'm going to make a t-shirt. All right, man. I'm stopping the broadcast. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Jim_FHW on Twitter. Send me some trade scenarios, guys. Let's talk about it. All right. Signing off.